A lot has changed since the last time we were here.
The Black Demon.
There must be some way off this rig.
Nothing works. I don't think it can take much more punishment. It's not just any shark, brought on not by nature, but by wrath.
The storm begins long before anyone ever sees the creature itself. It starts with whispers around a small coastal community, the kind of town that clings to the ocean for survival, yet fears everything hidden beneath its dark surface. Stories travel from dock to dock, carried by fishermen who return with trembling voices or sometimes never return at all. Each tale is slightly different, but the core remains the same: an ancient presence, a colossal shadow moving beneath the waves, a force the locals have named out of fear and reverence. The Black Demon. For years, these stories were dismissed as superstitions meant to keep children away from dangerous waters. But every rumor has a heartbeat, and every myth hides a truth waiting to burst through the surface. The film's journey begins with a family that arrives in this uneasy coastal region, expecting nothing more than a simple inspection trip. The father, a man whose job revolves around assessing offshore rigs, tries to treat the trip as part business, part forced vacation. His family joins reluctantly, unaware that the ocean they're about to travel across has a presence watching them long before they step onto the rickety boat that will carry them toward the isolated oil platform. The atmosphere tightens the moment they arrive in town. Locals stare with expressions ranging from worry to warning, as if the strangers have stepped into a story already in progress. One old fisherman mutters something unintelligible about a curse, and one woman simply says, "Turn back," but the family moves on, believing these are nothing more than the quirks of a remote fishing community. When they reach the platform, the shift in tone becomes unavoidable. What should have been a normal, functioning industrial site instead feels abandoned, rusted, and half swallowed by the sea. A few workers remain, each one marked by exhaustion, fear, and a strange sense of acceptance, as though they've been waiting for an inevitable ending. Their explanation is simple but chilling. The creature everyone talks about isn't a legend to them, it's real, and it has been circling the rig for days, sometimes weeks. The surviving workers recount glimpses of massive movement under the water, flashes of teeth longer than a man's forearm, and an intelligence in the way the creature stalks, waits, and returns. They believe the platform has angered something ancient, something tied to the sea itself, and that the creature is not just feeding but punishing. The story moves forward with a constant blend of dread and discovery. Tension grows as the family begins to witness signs that the workers' stories aren't exaggerated. Shadows move beneath the waves with unnerving speed. Metal groans as though something is pushing against it from below. The platform shudders even when the ocean is still. Eventually, the creature reveals itself with violent clarity, rising from the depths with a size that turns fear into disbelief. Its form is something between a prehistoric titan and a demon lurking in the deepest trenches of the world. The ocean seems to recoil around it. Every movement it makes suggests a blend of power and ancient purpose, as if it has existed far longer than any structure humans have ever built upon its territory. Inside the platform, panic and urgency begin to take over. The father attempts to understand what triggered the creature's rage while simultaneously trying to protect his family. He digs into the platform's recent history and discovers the company had ignored multiple environmental warnings, drilling too deep, too fast, and disrupting a part of the ocean floor that should have remained untouched. The workers admit that strange occurrences started soon after the drilling expanded. Equipment malfunctioned without cause, animals disappeared from nearby waters, and something massive began circling the rig long before it ever attacked. The suggestion grows that the creature is not just a mindless beast, but a guardian of something sacred beneath the sea. As the characters attempt to find a way off the platform, the story uses the confined environment to amplify tension. The walkways creak with every step. The wind howls with a bitterness that feels alive. Rain lashes against metal panels as if trying to warn them to stay inside. Every attempt to call for help fails. Their boat drifts away, destroyed or dragged under. The workers explain how the creature seems to know where to strike and when, almost as though it senses intention. But with fear also comes determination. A plan forms restore emergency systems, ignite controlled explosions, distract the creature long enough to escape. It's a plan based on desperation, but desperation is all they have left. The cast of characters is built on personalities shaped by survival rather than heroism. The father becomes the reluctant center of the chaos, forced into a role he never wanted. His wife transitions from frustration to fierce protectiveness, confronting danger with a strength she didn't know she possessed. Their children oscillate between terror and bravery, each moment reminding them how quickly innocence dissolves when reality becomes larger and darker than imagination. The workers add layers of complexity: guilt from ignoring early signs, fear from nights spent hearing the creature slam against the structure, and sorrow over colleagues who disappeared without trace after being dragged under by something too fast to see clearly. The creature is always present, even when not shown. The film builds tension by letting the audience feel its size through sound, the deep resonance of something vast swimming beneath steel, the abrupt silence when it pauses, and the explosive violence when it returns. The trailer for the film teased this atmosphere through rapid flashes: a massive fin slicing through black water, a shot of a submerged eye reflecting rusted metal, and the platform lights flickering as something breaches the surface. These glimpses suggested that the story wasn't about a typical creature feature, but something tied to supernatural elements, environmental consequences, and myths older than human memory. The trailer also hinted at the emotional core resting on the family's attempt to stay united while trapped between collapsing metal and the jaws of something unstoppable. Throughout the story, the ocean becomes its own character, unpredictable, hostile, and hypnotic. Rainstorms intensify, waves crash violently against the supports, and fog rolls in like a curtain hiding unseen horrors. In rare, calm moments, the sea reflects the sky like glass, making the characters question whether the danger is still near or simply waiting beneath the reflective surface. The contrast between calm and chaos creates a rhythm that keeps the tension constantly rising. Even when the creature is absent, the fear does not leave because the characters know it never truly goes far. As the characters uncover deeper truths, theories emerge about the creature's identity. Some believe it is a guardian spirit awakened by ecological damage. Others think it's an ancient predator never meant to encounter humanity. A few of the workers speak of local legends passed down for generations, stories of a black shadow that defended the ocean from exploitation and punished those who took without respect. These myths give the story a spiritual weight, making the conflict not just physical but moral. The creature's attacks begin to feel less random and more like a judgment upon those who disturb the natural order. The climax intensifies when the platform begins to collapse. Crevices open, metal snaps, fire erupts from broken pipes, and the entire structure sinks inch by inch into the sea. Amid chaos, the creature circles one last time, emerging with a force that shakes the entire foundation. The family and the workers scramble to finish their escape plan, balancing the risk of using unstable machinery with the certainty of being dragged under if they fail. Every second becomes a battle between the roaring flames above and the monstrous presence below. The father sacrifices safety to ensure his family reaches the last remaining raft, forcing himself to confront the creature directly by triggering a timed detonation meant to drive it away. Whether the blast harms the creature or merely angers it is left to interpretation, but the moment allows the survivors to break free from the sinking platform as it disappears beneath the waves. The final moments leave a lingering question rather than a neat conclusion. The survivors drift in silence, watching the ocean swallow the remnants of the rig. The creature's presence lingers in every ripple, as if reminding them that it still rules these depths. They know the creature isn't gone, only patient. The ocean looks calm again, almost too calm, and the final shot lingers on a faint shadow moving beneath the surface before fading into darkness. It implies that the story is less about defeating a monster and more about recognizing the consequences of human overreach. The entire film is shaped around themes of environmental responsibility, ancient mythology, family cohesion, and the primal fear of the unknown. It blends emotional tension with large-scale danger, creating a narrative where survival feels earned rather than handed out. By the time the story ends, the characters have transformed into versions of themselves, shaped not by victory, but by acceptance of forces larger than humanity. The creature itself becomes symbolic, part predator, part protector, and entirely unforgettable. From early production ideas to final scenes, the development focused on building an atmosphere of dread, rooted in deep-sea mystery. Reports during production mentioned how the filmmakers wanted to emphasize realism even with a creature of supernatural origin. They aimed for a mixture of practical effects and digital design to give the monster weight, texture, and presence. The cinematography embraced low light, stormy skies, and vast horizons to enhance isolation. Every frame of the movie attempted to capture the overwhelming power of nature and the vulnerability of humans who challenge it. Even before the film's release, early teasers generated discussions about the balance between mythology and creature horror. Some audiences speculated whether the story would lean toward a supernatural explanation or a realistic prehistoric predator narrative. The ambiguity became part of the appeal, keeping the creature shrouded in mystery even as promotional material hinted at its immense size and eerie intelligence. When the movie finally arrived, viewers were drawn to the blend of tension, emotional conflict, and sweeping ocean visuals. It delivered an experience that felt simultaneously primal and mythic, grounded in human fear and elevated by ancient legends. As the film reached wider audiences, reactions centered on the atmosphere, the scale of the creature, and the emotional depth created by the family dynamic. Many praised the decision to keep the creature hidden for much of the runtime, allowing imagination to fill the gaps before the full reveal. Others connected strongly with the environmental themes and the idea that nature strikes back when pushed too far. The story structure created conversations about responsibility, cultural mythologies, and the consequences of industrial greed. In the end, the film solidified itself as a unique blend of oceanic terror and mythological weight, offering a story where survival hinges on respect for forces far older and stronger than humanity. The creature, massive, intelligent, and haunting, remains one of the most memorable elements, representing both the power and the mystery of the deep. The final impression left by the story resonates with viewers long after the last scene fades. The ocean holds secrets beyond understanding, and some of them are best left undisturbed.